Before mankind arrived to mislabel everything, the world was governed with a degree of elegance now quite beyond us. I do not mean kindness. Kindness is modern hobby like branding and dietary theory. I mean order, severity, consequence. The ancient seas, for example, were managed superbly. Enormous reptiles moved through them with the calm assurance of creatures who had never once been asked to explain themselves to an inferior. If something in those waters fluttered, wavered, or gave off the unmistakable air of a creature seeking consensus, it was removed promptly. One rather misses that. On land, nature began its grand experiments in authority. Spikes, armor, clubs, crests, grotesque skulls, impossible size. One sees in these forms an old truth. Power has always loved costume. The plated beasts flaunted themselves like decorated tyrants. The horned species charged about as if grievance were a metabolic necessity. The long-necked giants, meanwhile, made an entire career out of altitude. They understood very early that height is often mistaken for wisdom by those condemned to look up. A lesson some of my colleagues have never ceased exploiting. As for herd animals, let us dispense with the usual sentimental rubbish. Herding is not cooperation. It is fear arranged geometrically. One animal startles, the rest endorse the panic, and by sunset the whole grassland has become a referendum on idiocy. The predators were better, far better. The great carnivores did not waste time on the weak, whatever that nursery word is supposed to mean. They hunted uncertainty, hesitation, a lapse in nerve, a visible need to be liked. They could detect self-doubt at astonishing range and responded as all healthy systems should, decisively. Snap. Problem solved. You may find that harsh. Nature did not. Indeed, there was a terrible beauty in the old arrangement. Every beast declared itself plainly. The armored were armored, the hunters hunted. The cumbersome were eaten. Nothing hid behind process. Nothing chaired a subcommittee. Nothing rose to prominence through charm, networking, or a ring and special handshake. Then, tragically, the reptiles passed, and the mammals inherited the place. One can feel the drop at once. Hair, fuss, sniffing, social clutter. Mammoths trundled across the continents like overfunded institutions, vast, impressive, and doomed by scale without imagination. Giant deer became tangled in their own vanity. Pack hunters introduced efficiency, that dreary vice by which all grandeur is eventually replaced with management. And at the very end, as a final indignity, came man. Underqualified, overinterpretive. Immediately convinced he was the point, he found the bones of these vanished monsters and in the usual human way mistook survival for superiority. He called the great predators savage because they were decisive. He called the giants stupid because they were large. He called extinction failure because he has never grasped that departure may, in some cases, be the last remaining form of dignity. The fossil record, read sternly, suggests otherwise. It suggests that prehistory was the age of scale, appetite, and consequence. Then came mammals. Then came man. Then came commentary. And from commentary, as we know, there is very seldom recovery. If there were justice in the natural order, and there occasionally is, certain patterns would still be corrected the old way. And so the matter resolves itself with almost insulting clarity. Prehistory was not savage, it was orderly in the only way that ever truly works. The savage corrected the foolish, the swift punished hesitation, and the ridiculous were not permitted to become influential simply because they were loud. Sadly, when the age of monsters ended, the age of excuses began.